Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? Oh my goodness, it's great to see everybody out there. Where are you from? Country, city, state? Put it out there. Let us know. We always want to know where everybody's tuning in from. It's always fun to learn a little bit about all that. Don't forget members for after the show. If you're a private Tinker with Tech, you can join as a member right down here. Right down there's a join button, probably where you're watching, either on mobile or on, et cetera, the computer, etc. Be sure to join, and you can always check out and see what we're all about. Tinkeringwithtech.net. Tinkeringwithtech.net. There you go. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. We always like that too. And we are Tinkering with Tech. So that's what we do. We tinker with tech and we talk about tech. That's all we're doing today is talking about tech. One cool thing we have on, if you join by clicking this button down here, just join for a month, check it out. But that money goes toward you being able to be what we call a super mega ultimate righteous fan, a Smurf. That's what they call themselves, the Smurf. And some of those Smurfs are out in the audience right now. Right here we have Jolin from Low Country, South Carolina. We're 73. Wow. How about that? Yeah. What happened to winter? She says that's true. And then we have Mike from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. 63 degrees Fahrenheit. I didn't even know that you knew what Fahrenheit was. I'm just kidding. Up in Canada, they use that other stuff. I don't even know. Yeah, I'm just playing. But today's guest, I have a guest on. One of those community members is on with me, and I'm going to introduce Mark Barris. Hey, Mark.
Howdy.
How are you?
Oh, hello, fellow Smurfs.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I appreciate you coming on and just help me out today, because I just wanted to have somebody to chat with more than anything else. But today's, it's kind of a hodgepodge kind of thing that we're just talking about anything and everything. Going to talk tech. We're just going to talk tech. There you go. And Mike says, Mark.
Hey, Mike.
There you go. And then Richard says California 59 now. Oh, there's Stuart, another super mega ultimate fan from Scotland. Dude, I got to reach out to you. I got to have you on. That'd be awesome to have you on as one of our guest hosts, right? I mean, it's always fun. Awesome. Hey, Mark, there you go. And then Richard. Okay, so, yeah, they're all talking to each other. So yeah, we were kind of talking backstage before we got started and everything, and it's amazing how much we're influenced by tech. And that's kind of what I wanted to at least start off. We can take this any avenue we want, but all about tech influence. So why don't you touch on that a little bit? Because you were just talking about, tell them like how you're using Twitter and that kind of stuff. Talk about that a little bit. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of news out there. And the cool thing is, finding a way to manage the news by your interest. So, Twitter can, like anything, it can be a lot of different things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But with their new, Twitter Blue that's come out, it's expanded. And I learned a lot of this from Miss Eileen, who was in the community too. There's a way to create these lists. There you go. There's a way of creating a list of specific, and you can make it public or private. You can share your list if you want to, of profiles that you're interested in, that you have something in common with, that you talk about. So I've created 3 or 4 different ones, so I can go in and out, get my news, and then get on with my day. And I've found that it's so nice to be able to not spend a lot of time searching for information. If you can go right for it and then get out, it's pretty cool. So that's
so is that, when you say share list, does that mean your list is unique to yourself, right? I mean, it's not like you share a list and now I have that same list.
Well, you could if you want. There's 2 kinds of lists.
Okay.
The creator, it's literally just a list of profiles that you're following in whatever category. You can name it whatever you want.
Okay.
And like I've got one for AI, one for SEO, tech, or whatever. And then as you're making it, you can change it from public to private.
Oh, okay.
So you can, if you want, you want this for you, or if you want to curate something that other people. So it's really neat to follow, if you see somebody you have something in common with, you know, like Eileen, for example, go in there and she's got several public lists. So you can look at them. It's really interesting and you can see how it's useful. And then you could, you know, follow some of those people or just follow her list.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's kind of a cool thing. And just follow her list, which is, so
that's
it's curated.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. One thing that you said that I thought was really kind of super cool, and didn't even think about it this way. It's not necessarily just business either. I mean, it's not just business related or just, I mean, cause it could be like, you know, your football, like you mentioned earlier, or something like that. I mean, it could be anything. That's what's super cool about this, is that it could be anything. So yeah, that's very interesting. Oh, there's Bob. Hey, Bob from out there in Washington. Everybody giving their temperatures as well. I should have added that, right? And he said, Mark, do you use TweetDeck? Says Mike.
Love it. I do a couple weekly Twitter chats, which is just that. It's just a chat back and forth, but usually it's a Q&A. Like somebody will have ask a question, and then the proper response, the protocol is you put, you know, A1 for answer number 1, whatever the question number is you want to answer. So along with the hashtag. So the only way to really manage a Twitter chat is with TweetDeck. So all it is it looks like Trello or whatever, just a bunch of columns, and you could have whatever you want in each column, so you can keep track of every question. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is super cool. I like that. I mean, we're on the topic, what's new in tech. So basically these are the things that we're doing. I mean, and you mentioned like you're on it all the time. Like that's how you get your news basically, right? I mean, is that how that's kind of what you said to me. Yeah.
It's become the go-to place for specific information, not just, okay, I'm going to watch an hour-long news thing. No, I'm too impatient for that. I want to go there, get it, and move on to something else. So yeah, I can go retrieve whatever is hot right now.
That's a good point, because we're inundated, and that's why I have this up on screen. What's new in tech? There's so much going on. We have to kind of balance it. I mean, wouldn't you say? I mean, kind of the way I feel. Now, do you find that same thing in business too? I mean, do you find your time like, oh gosh, man, maybe I'm wasting my time. I need to focus more on let's make some money at it kind of thing? Or
great point. So so I don't look at the football one anymore. So now I'm looking at specific at the list for, like I've got a list for AI, and then I've got a list for local SEO, and then I'll follow a bunch of the product experts. There's a list of that. So that's always interesting. They always have something interesting to share.
That's awesome.
So I'll go in there and I'll meet stuff. So it's sort of by date. So obviously I'll find out about stuff that's current. So I'll go in there and like today, for example, I found out about 2 webinars that were live on LinkedIn. And the only way you could see them is if you registered on, there's a link and you register with your LinkedIn account. It moves you to LinkedIn. And we were talking about that earlier. It's really cool. It reminds me a lot of the Hangouts on Air, which is really neat. So yeah, LinkedIn Live was cool, and it was the first time I've ever done it with LinkedIn Live.
That's super.
It was neat. It was really, but it was business, back to business, and LinkedIn is very professional.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. I'm glad you mentioned product experts, because next week, folks, we're going to have some product experts on to talk a pretty cool topic, I think. I try to have product experts on, and that's awesome that you actually follow some of them and you get their tweets, et cetera, and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, because they are pretty smart. A lot of them, I'm telling you, they give a lot of good information. Not me, but they do. And so that's why I like to have them on, because I'm not necessarily sure that I'm giving that much. So Mike says, Twitter is my main source of info on the topics, communities that interest me. I use separate decks for each topic. That's really super cool. See, I think that's awesome. Anyway, you can organize that way, and it helps you to stay in tune with all that. I think it's just awesome. I really do. I think that's great. So yes. lots of my members of the community that have become members are joining in. So good to see you, Donna, as well. I love it. And that's another thing that I think that we do that I like as well, is it really is a community. You know what I'm saying? The community part is pretty awesome, I think.
We all love it.
Yeah.
That's why we show up.
Yeah, yep. There you go. So anytime, this is great. I love this. So when you're talking, you know, what's new in tech, boy, that's so open. Yeah. I mean, there's something new all the time, right?
Exactly. So the only way it's become manageable for me is I'll look at it like, you know, what can I utilize? What's the use case for it? Okay, so it's great to hear about news, but now what? So
yeah,
you know, can I use it? Is it interesting? You know, obviously AI has been in the news quite a bit since November, but it's been going on for a long time. I mean, Google itself wants to be an AI first company, and that's, you know, they're you know, it's been going on for a long time. But with utilizing a lot of these tools, you know, staying on top of it, and you know, how do you use it to you know, to help your everyday life, and that's kind of the key for me.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think they're part of the artificial part, but I'm not sure about the intelligent. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, don't get it mad. That's
right. That's right. That's right.
It's not pretty.
Turn it right off. Yeah, exactly. No, it's all about having fun. All about having fun. That's all we want to do. Yeah. So also, so when you're, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned LinkedIn. I think that's a great point. Do you look at LinkedIn specifically as this is the business, like this is like the business Facebook, or is this the business, you know, well, there's a social side, and then or is your Twitter your social side and LinkedIn's your business side? I mean, do you technically look at it that way? I mean, in your brain, or is it just kind of?
I mean, I look at it that way. I don't know if that's. I'm still learning about LinkedIn because there's so much. You know, I mean, there's. You know, it's not as social as I would like. You know, other people are just promoting themselves. So which is fine. Self-promotion is great, but I haven't experienced the social aspect of LinkedIn as much as I'm sure it's there.
Gotcha.
It's on my list.
Gotcha. Just one more thing that's on your list, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk further to what I want to talk about is how tech influences you in your, and I mean, you kind of touched this in the green room. I thought that was interesting because you said even for football, you know, because you follow football, you like football, and just the conversations that come up, but it's more geared to what you want to focus on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I think we could get so lost in all the tech, and you're learning about all this different kinds of tech. And, you know, now with the chat GPT and AI and all that kind of stuff, you know, there's so much to get caught up in. I think the influence part, it influences us daily, really, you know, I mean, daily it influences us. So I think that becomes, you have to pick and choose. And that's where things like this become important. It's the influence.
Very much so, because we are influenced whether we like it or not. And so how are we going to, you know, what are we going to do with it? You know, how do we, you know, consume it, but also how do we make it useful? So, you know, that's kind of the key. But
I agree. Richard says, I have various people I follow for tech info and updates to things and new devices, etc. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's great. I mean, and I like that there's channels out there. When I say channels, I mean like YouTube specific channels or something like that, where they're just talking about this. They don't get to talking about their kids or whatever and all the stuff. It's just talking about those kind of things. But I do like the human element of that, though. You know what I'm saying? I do like when they do mention their kids, or they do bring in their family or something like that, because it makes it more human. You know what I'm saying? Versus going and watching a TV show or going to watch CNN on YouTube or what, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you bring up a good point about YouTube, because YouTube has that library feature. So I'll go in there and I'll categorize it. Boom, boom, boom. Specifically, I want to watch, the thing, put it in the library, but I'll put it in there by the folder. I like that a lot too. So I'll go in there, and if I've got stuff in a specific topic, I can consume it that way.
Totally agree. Absolutely. And then Donna says, I get messages that people are looking at my LinkedIn profile. I have not been there for years. I mean, we get caught up in that too. I mean, you get caught up in that. You might create an account in something, and then you're like, oh, wow, you know what? I forgot all about that account or whatever.
That's a good point. I need a way around that one. But I never look at my inbox on LinkedIn, because just like she's saying, it's filled with stuff. But like for example, today I thought, something. This is the thing that brand new today that I discovered was this. There was this one of the webinars on LinkedIn I was in today was by a gentleman who founded a company called 𝐸𝐸𝐸. And what this is, it's a paid service, but it looks interesting. What it is that when you go on a website like 𝐸𝐸𝐸, if you go on their website, just for example. I'm not an affiliate. I just was I go on it, and there is a chat feature, but it's not a chat per se. It's a pop-up that offers for you to text back and forth, because everybody's using their phones now, right? And a lot of people prefer text over email. So I thought that now this is the most clever thing I've heard in a long time. So it's, so I opted in, whatever, and I shared my, I got their contact information. It went in, and now I'm back and forth on texting with this specific company.
Wow.
And I thought, this is a great way for clients, like my clients, and to, because it's easier. People, when they're texting, it's a little more personal. It's certainly straight to the source. You're going right to that person's cell phone, not in their email inbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's just a tool. And I thought that was interesting.
It could be very brutal though, too. It could be a spam thing too, that you have to worry about and all that.
It's for communicating with a business. It sounds like it would be better.
I hope so.
User. Like for example, you come on, you're looking for something, right? Yeah. I want to find out, but I don't want to. I don't want to, wait for an email or whatever. I want to get some information. So when you send it, you're getting in real time. You can get your information. It's okay, thank you, and move on. So it's more instant help for the user. But it's also obviously very good for the company using it.
Pretty interesting too, since we're talking what's new in tech. I mean, it's just hard to believe it. And look at where we've come in technology in itself, where we've come in like the last 100 years, 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. All of those numbers and things have changed so much. So if you think of that backwards, go 5 more years, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, and we're in the middle, it'd be really interesting to see where and how that rubber band, I call it a rubber band because it just eventually it's got to break somewhere. I mean, I'm amazed.
Yeah.
Just amazed. Anyway.
Yeah. Even a year from now, where are we going to be?
Right. No, I know that. I mean, we have said that probably, oh my God, probably since the internet started, to be honest with you. And probably before that. I mean, seriously, because every year, like, oh my God, can you believe we're doing this year? Or can you believe this is happening this year? Or this is, going on. I mean, we live in a time in a society with that tech. Like I said, what's new in tech, that changes monthly and yearly.
But, one thing also that you taught us is that we as a community, that's why everybody should join this community. You've been doing Hangouts for 10 years almost. So this is so natural for most of us, where Zoom was something maybe they learned 3 or 4 years ago, and that was it. But you're so far ahead of the curve that it's more natural, it's more comfortable, and it's more of a social element than a lot of people treat it.
Yeah, a lot of people actually frown at people like us or like me. Like, oh my God, what are you doing? Talking to somebody online? Don't you know how bad that is? Seriously.
Yeah.
Now you can't even get through a day. I mean, now you can't really go around the block and just say, hey, you don't hear people saying, hey, what's Zoom? Everyone knows what that is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just incredible how something in society or in the world that happens can change that so drastically. That's true. Jolin says sometimes it changes hourly. Sometimes I think it does change hourly, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. This is good stuff.
Yesterday, they rebrand this Chat GPT thing, right? I know everybody's talking
about it. Talk about this.
They're rebranding it. There's a rebranding going on. So I don't know how many $1 million, and maybe somebody can look it up, that they spent for the domain AI.com.
Wow. That's
AI.com. A 2-letter domain, top level. That is
I bet you they spent some money. But they
got a few bucks from Microsoft, so who knows?
I just wish I would have had it before, because then if they would have bought it from me.
So now that's forwarding, right? You go AI.com, rolls off your lips, right? That's forwarding to the Chat GPT that's too hard to pronounce, right?
Yeah, everybody's freaking out.
So
what is this? I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah,
kind of a rebranding thing, and I don't know. It's interesting.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to start wrapping this up. Mark, thank you so much for joining me today. That was awesome. I appreciate you. I love when my community members come on and join us, and you Smurfs are just awesome with that kind of stuff. I really do. Let's see. How much did Microsoft give them?
26 billion, I think.
Really? Oh my God.
That's something crazy. Like that. A lot.
Wow.
A lot.
Yeah,
and they get 40% of the profit to 47% of the profit.
Wow.
But
that would just be awesome to have that kind of money to be able to buy that.
Sam Altman. Sam Altman is the new guy. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's a nice guy. He actually communicates with people online, which is neat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. We're going to meet in the Backstage Pass. Community members, you know where to get the Backstage Pass link. We would love to see you there. And Mark, again, thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate it. It's fun. Yeah. I can come on here without my headset, but it just wouldn't be the same because I got nobody to talk to and everything. But Jolin says, good conversation, guys. And great job, Mark. Enjoy your day. And Michael, too. There you go. How sweet.
Great to see you, Sheila.
All members, appreciate you. Anybody that's watching this, hey, give us some of your comments in the comments afterward. If you missed the live one, give us a little bit of comments there. And Mark, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Mark jumped right in, and Mark might even jump in next week because of the topic we're going to be talking about. That's a surprise. But if I can get I already got one. I'm going to try and get a couple more if I can. Other guys, product experts in to talk to us a little bit. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to take us on out of here. And Mark, I'll see you over at the Backstage Pass, and you can wait in here, and we'll go over there together in just a second. Whatever. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, all.